Hey there, Trailblazers, I hope you guys are all doing well. So we have finally received some detailed early kit info for HYACINE. And today in this video, I'll be going over her entire preliminary kit in full detail, and along with this, we'll also take a look at her playstyle, as well as her potential teams. But before we begin, let me just give you guys the usual disclaimer that everything mentioned in this video is based on very early information, which can be subject to change at any point in time. With that out of the way, let's begin without wasting any more of your time. Starting with some basic info about the character. HYACINE is going to be a wind element unit that follows the path of remembrance, and she is going to serve the role of a healer or sustain on your team, which actually, interestingly, makes her the very first healer in the game that doesn't follow the path of abundance. And as for her release date, she is expected to release during the first half of version 3.3, considering she was the first of the two 3.3 characters to get drip marketed. And going by the current update schedule, her banner will go live on the 19th of May for the American servers and 20th of May for the Asia and Europe servers. Now, let's move on to talking about the actual details of her kit. Let's first start with HYACINE's basic attack, which is pretty simple, as it just deals wind damage to a single target enemy scaling off of a percentage of HYACINE's max HP. Besides the HP scaling, there is nothing really unique about this basic attack, so you wouldn't be using it much at all other than to generate skill points for the party. Next up is HYACINE's skill, which is a bit more significant, as it heals all allies excluding her Memo Sprite for a percentage of HYACINE's max HP, and then also summons the Memo Sprite and heals it if it's already present on the field. This is just a simple team-wide healing skill that also helps in summoning HYACINE's Memo Sprite. Moving over to the ultimate, which makes HYACINE gain an unnamed effect for an unknown amount of turns, and while she is under this effect, all allies' max HP increases by a percentage of HYACINE's max HP. It then also heals all allies for a percentage of her max HP while summoning her Memo Sprite, and healing it if it's already present on the field. This ultimate is actually pretty great for any HP scaling damage dealers, as there aren't currently many sources for buffing max HP present in the game. So HYACINE granting this through her ultimate is honestly pretty amazing. Now you may be wondering why I keep mentioning that the Memo Sprite receives healing from both the skill and ultimate. Well, this comes into play with the talent, which basically increases the Memo Sprite's damage every time either HYACINE or the Memo Sprite receives healing. Additionally, this damage boost also stacks, which means it can potentially make the Memo Sprite do some very insane damage numbers. So HYACINE not only has the potential to be a great healer, but will also be able to do some respectable damage herself through her Memo Sprite depending on its multipliers. Next is HYACINE's three major traces. Trace 1 makes all of the Memo Sprite's attacks guaranteed to crit. This trace is actually pretty amazing, as you don't have to build crit rate on her and instead focus more on maximizing her healing capabilities without needing to worry much about affecting her actual damage output. And when you combine this trace with her talent, it actually makes HYACINE a pretty decent sub DPS to run alongside your main damage dealers. Next up is her Trace 2, which states that when HYACINE's speed is greater than 200, for every speed greater than or equal to 200, it increases her outgoing healing up to a certain percent. So in order to maximize her healing output, you want to build HYACINE as fast as possible, as this trace basically converts her excess speed into outgoing healing, with 200 points of speed being the absolute minimum speed threshold needed to get any benefit from this passive. And lastly, her Trace 3 is pretty simple, as it just gives the entire team some effect resistance. This just helps with resisting crowd control a little bit, but is nothing all that outstanding. Moving over to the Memo Sprite ability, where the Memo Sprite launches an AoE attack when taking its turn. And additionally, if an ally's health is lower than a certain percent, it then consumes a percentage of its own HP and heals the entire party. Firstly, we know HYACINE will be built pretty fast, so her Memo Sprite will also be taking turns very consistently and dishing out tons of damage in the process, especially with the guaranteed crits and damage boosting talent helping it out, which would be great for boosting her team's overall damage output. And along with this, The Memo Sprite healing the entire party through sacrificing its own HP is also amazing, as it not only increases the team's survivability, but also helps in Castorice's teams, as she needs her party members' HP to be drained in order to charge her powerful ultimate ability. And finally, let's now talk about Hyacine's signature LIGHTCONE. Her LIGHTCONE first increases the wearer's speed by a percentage, and when the wearer uses either a basic attack, skill, or ultimate, it consumes a percentage of all allies' HP. Additionally, when the wearer's Memo Sprite uses a Memo Sprite skill, all enemies take more damage. The HP drain from this LIGHTCONE is not only great for Castorice teams, but also for Mighty Eye, Blade, and any other unit that releases in the future that benefits from HP being manipulated. And you also don't have to worry much about this affecting Hyacine's healing capabilities, as her Memo Sprite will heal the entire party if even a single ally's HP falls below a certain amount. And on top of all of this, the LIGHTCONE also buffs the entire team's damage as well by increasing the damage all enemies take whenever the wearer's Memo Sprite uses a skill. This LIGHTCONE has tons of utility, as you basically get a team-wide HP drain and also a damage percent buff on a single LIGHTCONE, which is perfect for almost any damage dealer in the game that is based around HP manipulation. Overall, Hyacine is looking to be a pretty great unit, as she not only has great healing utility, but also deals tons of damage and provides various buffs and passives to your entire team through both her ultimate and LIGHTCONE. So that's pretty much all of the current information we got on Hyacine's kit. If you found the info in this video helpful, feel free to give it a like. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with all the latest HSR news and information. That's it for now, so I'll see you in the next video.